Welcome to Level 3 Differentiation Skills tutorial. Today we'll be looking at Level 3 Differentiation and we'll introduce and unpack the standard before looking at some questions. So today, helping me out, I've got my friend Yunchen with me and of course myself, Max, and we just hope this tutorial helps you out.
So just some key points to take away from differentiation. So at its core, the ideas behind differentiation are quite simple, but it takes a lot of practice to recognize the patterns and learn when you have to apply the formula. Another tip is to take it slow. So you just have to remember to apply the formula and processes you've learned, even if the problem is quite complex.
And thirdly, you've got this calculus, marculus, so let's make it as easy as pie. But before we kind of delve into some questions and some tips, just going to go over, well, not a brief history of calculus to understand where it comes from. So mathematics is full of history, from the discovery to amazing applications in real life. It was developed in the early 17th century and is still argued today if it was invented by Isaac Newton of England or Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz of Germany. Although one thing that also remains an argument is who had the better hair. So both of them claim to have invented it, and who wouldn't with all of the applications it has in the world, even if they are subtle and not recognized by the general public. So that's why we still learn these ideas today, and for many engineering, maths, science, and economics students, this is an integral part of learning and will differentiate you from other students.
So yeah, just starting off, we'll go through some common mistakes that students generally make. So for these mistakes, you can make them no matter what kind of level you're at, if you're an excellent student or you're just trying to pass the standard. The first one is forgetting to subtract 1 from the power. This is a pretty common one, especially if you haven't done differentiation for a while or you've been doing integrating. The second one is forgetting to multiply by the derivative of the inside. And you also have multiplying by the power correctly. And we'll go through that in our video about bracket rule. We also have not using product or quotient rule when it's necessary, missing out negative signs. So generally this applies to trig functions. And finally, we have using product rule incorrectly. And we'll go through these mistakes more in depth later on.
So just a couple tips and tricks before we go into some questions. Just once again, use the formula sheet. You're given this in every exam, common test, and it's really handy if you can get a printout yourself. So when you're going through questions at home or in class, to have it just by your side. Even if you're confident, it's just the silly mistakes that will get you. So always have it there and always check you're using the right rules and getting it right. Number 2, practice differentiating your basic functions. Once again, it's the easy stuff that might trip you up. And practice using the product and quotient rule. So you can see a lot of this is just practice, practice, practice. And that's true for calculus and for differentiation. It's going to be the practice that really helps you get the merits and excellences. And lastly, for the bracket rule problems, which we'll go over later, make sure you convert these to the right form. They may not look as nice, but this will make life easy for yourself, and you should be able to get the question from there.
Yeah, so just some general exam marking or strategy that you might be interested in. So unlike science subjects in calculus, at least as of like 2021, your marks are based off the highest grade per question. So if you get E mark for a question, you are guaranteed at least an E7 for that question. And it's the same with merit marks. You'll be guaranteed an M5 at least for that question if you get 1 merit mark. So generally there'll be 3 E questions per paper and 1 per question. It has been an exam strategy in the past to only do the merit and excellence questions, but in the exam you'll have lots and lots of time. So that isn't something you really have to implement, and you can still do the achieve questions even though they might not make a difference.
Just adding on to that, just give every question a go. Like any other exam, just try your best for everything. For those students that are very confident, try not to just skip the achieved and merit questions because it's a bit risky. But also, on the other hand, if you're getting A's and M's, just why not go for the E's? Sometimes they're very easy and you might just surprise yourself and get an E.